And welcome into episode 004 of Fatal to Prejudice. I got my buddy here, Denzyel.
Hey,
Welcome.
yes, I'm glad to be here. It's my pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
Of course.
Yes.
I'm very excited to get into this episode with you.
Yeah.
We've known each other for about 10 years now.
Going on 10 years.
Since 2012, close to the end of 2012.
Yeah.
We met my freshman year of college, your sophomore year of college.
Yes. It was a weird year. Yes. It was, you were pledging, right? For the fraternity.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. So I got another fraternity brother here. This is the third one. We all got cool stories.
Who was the second one? I already know the first one. Who was the second one?
The second one is JoJo. That's what he wanted to remain named as.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I don't know who that is. I'm trying to think who would. Is that like a nickname, or that's his name they chose?
That's the name he wanted to be referred to as.
And that just means I gotta listen to your podcast.
Yeah. Yeah. Check out episode 003.
All right, I will. You do too, people.
Yeah. All right. Interesting. So you grew up here in the Columbus area.
Yes.
In a little more of a, I guess, rougher neighborhood.
Yeah, I guess.
The Whitehall area.
Yeah, people say it's rough. I don't think it's rough. I mean, but you never really realize, like, I guess how rough your neighborhood was if you're living in it. So, like, when people tell me, like, Whitehall's rough, I'm like, are you sure? You're talking about Whitehall? I mean, it's ghetto. I will say it's ghetto. There's some ghetto people in Whitehall, and ghetto people do ghetto things. And I also think we are around, like, the four main streets, so, like, Livingston, Maine, Hamilton, Broad. So I think with that traffic, you get a lot of strange activities, coming through there. So, yeah. But, yes.
You grew up there.
Yes.
You were saying earlier when we were chit-chatting, I didn't know this, that you grew up with your grandparents to start off your life, right?
Yes. I was first. Me and my mom were, because I'm the firstborn. It's me and my sister, and I'm older. I'm the oldest. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. And so we first lived with my grandma until, not for too long, maybe like 2 years, and then we 2 or 3 years, and then we moved into my mom's first apartment, and that was in Whitehall. So I lived with my grandma on E Lane in Columbus area. Yep. So that was now that area was rough. Now I will say that is a rough area.
Yeah.
E Lane. There was a lot of gang activity growing up, and I was going to Shady Lane as well, and the school was a rough school too. So I will say that I think when I moved to Whitehall and I actually went to Whitehall schools, that was a breath of fresh air. Like, it was a lot of diversity, a lot of more open-minded people there, I guess. So I don't know. It was just different. It was definitely different.
Do you remember, like, going to both of those schools? Like, how well do you remember going to those?
I remember them very well.
Yeah.
Like Shady Lane was bigger than Whitehall. I went to Beechwood. That's a school, elementary school in Whitehall. But I was going to Shady Lane first. Elementary. I went from K to 4th grade, and it was just a lot of bullying, whether it's in school, whether it was on the bus. It was just a lot of fights. I did a lot of fighting there. So Yeah. So, and I didn't understand. I felt like, why doesn't anybody like me? You know. And then I went to Whitehall, and it's just like everybody was chill. No one was trying to fight. Everybody was just trying to, be kids. Obviously there was some fights and stuff like that,
Right.
but it wasn't as bad as it was in Shady Lane.
There were people just like picking on you because you're different than them, or
I mean,
like
just
what?
I think it was just like kids being kids,
Okay.
and I didn't have a lot of confidence growing back. I mean, back then I didn't have a lot of confidence growing up. So I think when you get bullied and they see it affects you,
Mm-hmm.
you're become a target. And I think going to a new school, even though I was nervous, it was like before I went to that school, I had friends in the neighborhood going to Beechwood where I didn't have friends in the neighborhood going to Shady Lane because I didn't live in that area. I lived in Whitehall. And I would just go from Whitehall. My mom would wake me up at like 5 in the morning to go to my grandma's house to go to Shady Lane until they somehow found out we were doing that and made me go to Beechwood, start going to Whitehall schools. So, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's kind of rude of them.
Yeah, right? But no, it was the best thing it's one of the best things that happened to me. So
That's good then.
yeah, I actually got a better education. Actually, was able to focus.
Yeah. So, was there any like crazy things that happened to you in either of the schools? Like, was there a massive fight that broke out or something? Like,
No, I won't say anything crazy. Um, like I said, there was a lot more friends in Beechwood because
mhm.
I did baseball right before I went to Beechwood, and so I met a lot of the people there and met a lot of my friends there. So nothing crazy. I mean, I think crazy stuff start happening like in middle school, high school, when puberty hits and people start getting weird,
Oh yeah.
strange, So yeah, but I just like high school. There was a huge girl fight in front of like the school, like all black girls. I will say that it was, yeah. There was. I don't know if they were fighting over a guy or they just didn't like. I don't know if it was a. I know there was a different group of girls fighting each other. So
Yeah.
it was just like girls on one side and
It's like two different cliques
yeah,
fighting each other.
yeah. It was like almost like the last day of school. Everybody was talking about it. I remember getting there late because I was a bad test taker, so I was getting done with my test late. But I remember coming outside and just police, cops everywhere, girls on the ground, girls bleeding. It was pretty big. It was a pretty big deal.
That sounds rough.
Yeah, yeah. It was known. So, but other than that, nothing super crazy happened in high school. I was a floater. I guess I would say I floated from who I was in the mood to hang out with that time. During that time, I had definitely some good friends that I remember till this day that was still like that are embedded in my mind. But like towards the end, I kind of just floated around because people change and
Mm-hmm.
you start to realize who you are. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And I've always thought of you as someone who doesn't pick just like a friend group. You are a floater where you have all the friend groups,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You don't gravitate to one, like, I guess, stereotype or clique or anything. You just all over.
Right. Share the love.
Yeah.
It's rude to just be secluded. I understand cliques and groups. You've got a common person, but also like it's good to understand other people and just like get to know other people because you never know like what you learn from people, even if like they're not your cup of tea or a person that you like to be around or enjoy being around. You always learn something from somebody, negative and bad. I mean, that's the same thing, negative and positive.
Negative and positive, yeah. I found that like I learned that from you early on in our friendship, and I found it like so cool that you learned that early in life. Is that something that you learned like in high school, middle school? Like, do you remember learning that like life lesson and carrying it to today?
I just remember like as a kid always just having this strong sense of just like people, like loving people and um, sympathy. I always
Mhm.
had this strong, like sympathetic spirit
Mhm.
on me, and I think I went between knowing like, okay, I'm sympathetic, and then that going away to like, oh, I don't trust anybody, and then realizing like that you cannot put any expectations on people. And when I learned that, I think it would allow me to be patient with people and actually like, oh, like get to know people and see like people, no matter how bad their life is or who they are,
Mhm.
they have something to offer.
Yeah.
Everybody has something to offer. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, along with that, do you have that thought of like people are in your life for a reason? Like there's a life lesson with everyone?
Yeah, I believe it. I believe everything that happens in your life is for a reason.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people. So
Yeah.
like, even if you trip on the street, it was for a reason, you know. Like, but it's like, yeah. But people, I realize people come in your life to break you down, to
Mhm.
build you up, to test you, to give you peace, to cause chaos.
Mhm.
People give you, it's like someone comes in your life, and I think it's how you look at it. You can
Yeah.
grow from it. There's some people I'm like, man, I don't know why I was their friend, but I oftentimes find myself. Do you ever find yourself like the person that you're no longer friends with, or you can't stand? I mean, that you it ended, the friendship ended badly,
Mhm.
but you still think about those good times, or you still think about how good that person was when
Yeah.
you were with. And that's how it is. It's like you still can see the, even though like it ended on bad note, and that person needs stuff to work on just like you do,
Right.
but like it was a good time when that person was around, or you did have a good time, or that person was funny, or that person was smart, you know. So
Right. Yeah, I've had those experiences as well.
yeah,
Like there's been times where I've been like friends with someone and I hang out with them and we have good times, we send funny texts to each other whatever.
yeah.
And then literally like drop of a hat next day, it's like I hate you. You're a terrible person. Like never going to be friends with
That
you
quick.
again. Like and sometimes I just sit back and I'm like why and how did that happen?
Hmm.
And then at the same time, I'm also like, what life lesson did I just have to learn?
Yeah, yeah. And I think it's smart to. I think it's great that you take the time and was like, okay, what did I learn from this?
Mm-hmm.
Because you have to. Even in there's those people who be like, oh, they did this, but what did you do?
Yeah.
You know, and that
Yeah.
always it's hard because you have to get your pride out the way. But I always look at like like if I'm
Mm-hmm.
arguing with somebody, and if you're my friend, if I call you and I consider you my friend, we're going to talk about it.
Right.
I'm going to have a conversation with you,
Right.
regardless if you like the conversation or not. If I feel like something's on my heart, I need to let you know. And so, like, before I go tell that person how I feel, I always say, okay, in this situation, what could I have done better?
Mm-hmm.
Or what could I have done to prevent it? Now, sometimes, majority of times for me, but sometimes I realize I didn't do anything wrong. it was it was all them, you know.
Yeah.
But I still say, I could have said things better, or I still apologize for whatever I could, because in my perspective, I could have done nothing wrong, but in their
Right.
perspective, how they raised, how they view things, I could
Mm.
have done everything wrong.
Yeah.
So it's definitely big. I just dealt with that recently, like let it go with people, and
Mm-hmm.
it was hard for me because I'm such a person that like I can be a pushover, or I can let just things just slide past because
Mm-hmm.
I'm like I'm not for the drama, like, or I don't want nobody to think like, oh, you're just complaining. As a guy, a lot of times we don't say much because we're thinking, oh, I'm just complaining, I'm just complaining.
Right.
But when you realize like you're like, if something's bothering you and you care about yourself enough,
Mm-hmm.
like, and someone's not treating you the way you want to be treated, like, it's, you owe it to yourself to remove yourself from the situation, or let that person know, hey, you're treating me in a certain way that I don't like, So change it, or can we work on changing that? And if that person's not good enough or enough to change it, or doesn't care about you enough to change it, then you need to move on. You know, you need to distance yourself from that person.
Yeah.
And that's for you, you know.
Right. So. When do you think you learned that life lesson? Did you learn that early on, like in high school, like we were just talking about? Or did you learn that like later down the road?
I think I've learned that early. As a kid, I went through. I learned some of that, but yeah, I learned that. I feel like I learned that really early. I learned a lot of my like deep inner, you know, understandings and enlightenment when I was younger. I went through abuse as a kid, so I think that abuse opened me up to a lot of things, had me dealing with a lot of different emotions that I didn't necessarily understand at that time, at that age. And because I had to deal with those emotions by myself, because the abuse was silent, you know, and I kept silent for so long for the abuse, that I had to try to gain understanding of everything by myself and do it by myself, and with all the outside distractions as well. And I think I came to the conclusion that we can't have expectations on our moms, our dads, our family members, our friends. We can expect them to treat you the way you're treating them, but even that, you can't expect them to do that, because they're human. We're flawed, you know. So people are going to bound to make mistakes. People are bound to fail. You know, that's what humans do. Man fails all the time.
Oh yeah,
and they're not perfect. So when I realized that, I stopped putting expectations on people and start having expectations on myself. And one of those expectations is love yourself. And if someone's beside you not loving you, then you need to remove yourself, because that's not loving who you are. You know, that's not treating yourself right. You know. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah, it makes total sense. I think that's a great life lesson that like you learned early. Like I'm kind of envious of it, because it's something that I like kind of learned growing up, but like now at this point in my life, my personal life, I'm dealing with doing that, like what you're talking about, which I think is cool that you're saying it here to record on the podcast, and I'm literally dealing with it right now.
Yeah. So you just like, you grew up trusting everybody?
I did grow up pretty trusting with people, and like as an adult, I don't trust people as much.
Yeah.
And
it's sad, because it's like, as a child, you got that innocence, and you're just like, yeah, I'm gonna trust you.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, it's funny, because like, I follow Christ, you know, and was raised in the church, and accepting God is like, I'm gonna trust you, you know, and like as a kid is like, that trust was, you know, damaged, and now at an older age in my life and going into my faith, I'm telling God, I'm gonna trust you, and that's hard for me to just put my faith in someone, and then put my faith in a being that you cannot see, you know, and that some people say they don't feel like talks back to you, you know. So so
yeah, there's a couple of things you mentioned that I want to touch on. We'll go back to, you said that you had to deal with some abuse as a child. Do you mind, like, do you want to dive into that, or?
No, not at all. I'll dive into that. I was at the age of 4. I was sexually abused by a family member.
4 years old.
Yeah, around 4 or 5 years old.
Oh my God.
And the abuse went on for like a couple of years, and then I remember I was in church, and I was just learning different things. I was learning that certain behaviors were inappropriate. Not only inappropriate because I knew those behaviors were inappropriate, but like certain behaviors have consequences. In the church, certain behaviors have consequences.
Right.
And I realized, like, okay, that is not right. So I got myself out the situation with that individual, just by saying no, I'm not doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And the individual was like way older than me, just like I was a young one, they were like teens, so.
Mm-hmm.
But that went on for a while, and then yeah, and then it happened again, um, in another age of my life, and so that stuck with me for a long time. I had to deal with that. I had to deal with the emotions. I had to deal with understanding, and I had to deal with like realizing like I had this thought in my head that I was not loved and not able to be loved, and how could anybody love me?
Mm-hmm.
So those things, like learning to forgive or trying to forgive, and those things I had to deal with, and I'm still dealing with today. So it's been a journey, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't. I know it's crazy to say I don't regret any of it. I like past me would have been like, yeah, hell yeah, I regret all of it. But yeah, it's made me who I am. It's made me this kind individual,
Mm-hmm.
sympathetic, understanding individual, and it's also made me such a strong person. So even though things I still don't understand and things I still don't quite get, I realize like I wouldn't be who I am today
Mm-hmm.
if I didn't go through those tests and trials.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Like that's a lot for like someone to digest, and I'm still trying to digest it. And I honestly, like, if you told me that before, I don't remember it, and I apologize, but like I'm if you did, I'm digesting it again, and I'm like still, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know the word.
School.
Yeah, it's intense to like hear that, like, that trauma happening to someone. Yeah. Is so did you like just kind of go about your business and be a kid, or did you like seek help, or did you go, like, I don't know, did you go to therapy? Like, what did you do?
So I kept it to myself for the longest, and cause when depression hits,
Mm-hmm.
and like, and one thing with me is like I have a great poker face,
You
like
do.
yeah, I do, and I'm like, it's like either I just like seriously at a poker game,
Mm-hmm.
y'all, like I just smile and people think I'm lying anyway, like it's like he's up to something. I love it, like you never know if I'm doing something or not. But
Right.
I had a great poker face as a kid. I just did, and singing helped a lot. Like where my pain hurt, where that you ever had that pain where it's deep down
Mm-hmm.
your stomach, like it's not physical pain, but it's like emotional pain. It's like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh, it's like aching. It's like you want to rip out whatever's in there.
Uh-huh.
And singing is where like I would sing and cry at the same time just to get through the night sometimes. So
Mm-hmm.
um when depression kicks in, you get a lot of negative voices in your head,
Oh yeah.
that you're not worth it, that you're not good enough.
Mm-hmm.
And I just, no matter what I did, I wasn't happy. I didn't like who I was. I didn't love who I was. And then you had to deal with that on top of like people in school and just emotions and just like relationships, and you had to deal with all that, and you keeping it bottled up inside. So I dealt with that a long time by myself until I told another family member, and they and again it was a lot of trust.
Mm-hmm.
Like I told a family member in confidence, and I'm not gonna say what family member because
No.
okay, yeah, because I don't want to put them out there like that. But the individual did when I told them that this is what I went through, and these are what I'm going through, and these are the feelings I'm having, and they kind of like distanced themselves from me and
Really?
didn't really talk to me that much. And then another, they told my mom, and at that point, I won't say too much about that because it's sensitive.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing, there was my mom. I will say, at the time, my parents were in their feelings and emotions, which
Mm-hmm.
any parent would be. They feel like
Right.
all this guilt or frustration and anger, and you know, I, I don't know what anybody would expect to feel when they're told their child has been, touched or hurt, and I felt like I wanted them to put themselves in my shoes and say, hey, take a second from their feelings and from how they felt. Say, hey, what do you need?
Mm-hmm.
What do you need? And I never got that because it was such a big cluster of emotions and mess and people telling people and then people confronting me without me even knowing that they knew. It was just like a lot of stuff. It was a lot of betrayal. So I dealt with trust issues there too.
Mm-hmm.
Even trying to tell somebody and get the help that I needed. And now, for the first time ever, I'm getting counseling.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in
Okay.
counseling now for it. Just getting over it because it brings such a burden on
Mm-hmm.
who you are, and you question so many things, and you get, because you don't know how to handle it or handle those questions or deal with your emotions. You cope in different ways, negative ways, and so those negative ways can take away your creativity. And I'm an artist, and I realized I was getting like writer's block. I wasn't feeling my creativity, and I felt like, okay, this is something I need to go talk to somebody about so I can
Mm-hmm.
feel like myself again, because there's a lot of greatness that I want to put out,
Right.
and if I got this, it won't allow me to put out. I think, like, even here, being open about my past, it's hard, but as an artist, you gotta be open about what you've been through. It's like humility,
Mm-hmm.
You gotta talk about your bad days, your good days, how,
Right.
you know, your past. So I'm kind of glad I'm doing it.
Yeah. Good. I'm glad you're doing it as well.
Yeah, I
Um.
was forced to. So just say nah.
Hey, mental health is very important.
It
And I'm
is.
glad that you are, taking the steps to like, be better, right?
Yeah.
Like you're loving yourself,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And you're big on that, like, especially on Instagram. Like, I love you for that, bro, because it's like every time there's certain things that I don't say that you will, post, and,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of it is true. Like, as men, we have to be I've always known we have to be the provider, so we don't have time to cry about it. And I'm not saying, um, being your feelings constantly. No, I don't
Yeah.
agree with that. I feel like you have to talk about it so you can get over it,
Mm-hmm.
so you can move on. And it won't take a day to get over, but at least talk about something so you can move forward in your life, so you can provide for your family, so you can do the things you do, so you can help your family. So, because your mental health helps, because you're a leader of your family.
Mm-hmm.
So I think your mental health helps everybody else around you,
Definitely. Yeah. I'm a very big person about mental health and
Yeah.
you know
That's how
loving
we met,
yourself.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you wanna go into that?
Yeah, yeah, we can.
Okay. So I'll start off for a second. So I first met Denzyel my freshman year of college, his sophomore year, like I spoke about earlier. And there was like I I was a pretty introverted person, right?
Yeah.
And
Super introverted, like really introverted.
yeah. I'm still introverted, not as introverted, but I was yeah. And so I like for some reason I really wanted to become like a resident assistant, like the RA.
Yeah.
And I wanted to, step out of my comfort zone, step out of my shell, evolve as a person, and I would like go on the rounds with the RAs, like looking at the buildings and saying hi to everyone, and like, doing whatever the RAs do on college campuses.
Yeah.
There was
Narcs.
what?
Narcs.
Narcs. Yeah. So yeah, there was one night, Denzel's in the fraternity that I'm in, so he joined a year before I did. He was living in the fraternity house that's on campus. And so I was going on the rounds with the RA that night, and like the guys in the house kind of already knew me. So I'd walk in there and like say hi to everyone and talk to people. The night that Denzel and I met was a little different.
Was it bad? Yeah, it was. It ended up being a good night, but it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I walked into the house to Denzel. You were not in a good spot. I don't want to say you were having a mental breakdown, but like it was similar, right? Was it a mental breakdown? I don't know.
No, I was. I think in like I had, um, I had lost my friend in my sophomore year
Mm-hmm.
of college, and I think that's when my anxiety like had really reached its peak. I already had anxiety, but like I never really experienced like anxiety attacks. I guess they are attacks, but like severe anxiety attacks where
Mm-hmm.
you're uncontrollably breathing. You're feeling like it's the end of the world. Like so I started experiencing those. Yeah, that was sophomore year.
Yeah.
And I just was not in a good place at the moment. I feel like everything. I I feel like everything with anxiety. How I explain it, because a lot of people are like, "What's anxiety?" Like, it's like when you get nervous, like even like when you're crush, you have a crush or
Mm-hmm.
something, you get nervous, you get butterflies in your stomach. It's like that, except it's it's like in your stomach, it's constant,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's like your the anxiety is fear of the unknown to me, from my understanding. It's fear of
Yeah.
not knowing. And so you're focused on one thing, you're first focused on one thing that is unsure, and then it keeps going like a snowball effect. It just
Mm-hmm.
because it adds on like, oh, I didn't do my homework, so I'm probably going to get an F. And if I get this F, I'm not going to pass the class. If I don't pass the class, I won't have enough money to take another class, and then I'll have to drop out, and then I have to live with my mom, and then my family be disappointed. It just keeps going and keeps
Right.
going and keeps going and keeps going. So I feel like that at that time I had real bad anxiety, and you came in that day, and I I don't know. I don't really remember like exactly what was going on or happened. I just remember you and Malcolm, another fraternity brother,
Yeah.
just being there and just calming me down. Yeah.
There was I remember there was two other fraternity brothers there that you were really close with. I can name drop them. I don't have
I don't know
to.
who you're talking about. Was it Ivan?
Ivan and Julian were there.
Okay.
They were the two like consoling you having this anxiety attack.
Yeah.
And like, when I walked in with doing these rounds, like, people are hanging out in the living room, telling jokes, telling stories, laughing, having good times. And then we walked in and saw, you three there. It was way different vibe in the room.
Yeah. It was I don't even remember what it was that I was tripping on, but I just remember Malcolm saying some like words that I really aren't. It might have been you or Malcolm, but the word that I took from that night was perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how are you perceiving your life?
Mm-hmm.
Like, how are you perceiving your situation? And like your situation could be crappy, but
Mm-hmm.
like if you but you also can perceive it differently than crappy situation. You can be like, okay, this is another test, or okay, this is just another situation. I can get through this, you know. But
Mm-hmm.
my perspective was totally like I was done. I think I was just completely done, and I was just tired, and I was just like, school was a lot, and you know, my friend had just passed, and I feel like, okay, there's no point in keep doing this, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you opened up about your past too that night. I think it was years.
It's been a
It's
while.
been a while. Yeah.
It's been a while. I actually do remember one thing that I said to you because that night had such an impact on me in my life. I remember you
Did
were
it?
you were talking very negative about yourself. I don't remember what you were saying, but I was like, I had a moment where I was like, Denzel, listen, like, I have the perspective of seeing you around campus, and like you're always around people, you're having a good time, you're always smiling, you're always singing,
Yeah.
and I'm like, this is not who you are. Like,
Yeah.
I know whatever you're going through, you're gonna get through it.
Yeah. I remember that. I remember some of that. Yeah. It was college was college was great, but it had their rough times, you know,
Oh
where
yeah.
it just was like, wait, what am I doing? You know, especially like being around people that you don't know and having different like perspectives on life and having
Mhm.
different lifestyles, and you just it gets overwhelming because you're trying to figure out who you are and trying to
Yeah.
figure out like where am I going, you know.
Mhm. Did you have a music major in college? I don't remember what your major was.
Um, I I started my freshman year. I started off doing a minor in music. I think it was just music. Yeah, and I changed my mind because I did not like the music department. No, I love the shout out to Brad and Allie. I just it was just a I came from a high school where music, like I was the singer. People knew me as being a singer.
Mhm.
People came to me and I would make up songs. Like I made this song, Miss Spaghetti. I'm not gonna sing it because it's inappropriate. I might give y'all a little snippet, but but it's a. I remember I just would be the singer, and I was in the eyes, and I was just like, yeah, I got this. Like I'm a great singer. Like I was confident, and
Mhm.
then coming to college and realizing it doesn't have to always do with confidence.
Mhm.
Sometimes people like you, you know, or sometimes, and I felt like it was coming from like I didn't know anybody. There was people had been there. There was favorites. There was, and it was just like everything that I tried to do, I like would fail at. Like not fail at, but it was just like music just wasn't. I wasn't. I really regret if I regret anything from college. I regret not taking too much, not taking as much as time as I needed in the music department.
Mhm.
Just being in the studio and just being able to like be involved. I wasn't in a small group. I wasn't in an acapella group, but there was more that I can do individually that I wanted to learn. Just making my own beats, you know, how to make my own album, you know, just things I really could have taken in with the music industry and stuff like that. Just learning more, and I didn't take advantage of that. But most of my time was spent with the fraternity, so getting drunk.
Hey man, I've had discussions on here already. We actually were a pretty good fraternity.
Yeah, right.
Are you killing me here? You killing me. Oh man, yeah, we had our fair share of parties, right? But like we also had our fair share of good things that we did.
Yeah. What were they?
I'm done with you.
No, we did. I'm not gonna say we lied. We had Movember where we did we would shave the teachers. We like shave them in the in one like we would shave they would shave their mustache for Movember. Men's prostate cancer.
Yeah.
We would donate for that. We work with YMCA, and we did like Big Brother with Little Sister.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Besides that, all that, I remember drinking.
Oh man. Anyway, I want to talk about this singing thing that you do.
Yeah.
Did you? So you talked about you did it in like high school. Was that? Was that something you like? When did you know that you wanted to be like singing in the music industry and all that stuff?
Well, I don't know if I know. So I remember my grandma knew she said she knew I was gonna be a singer because she said I would sing my ABCs and I'd be like A, B, C. It was always a beat. But I remember my cousins and me. We didn't have a drum set, but we would go downstairs in my grandma's basement, and I don't know if you remember because you're pretty young, but I don't know if I don't remember. I don't know if you remember Doug.
Doug. Oh
Doug,
yeah,
yeah,
the TV
yeah,
show. I remember
yeah,
Doug.
yeah.
Doug was a great TV
And
show. Put
yeah,
that back on TV.
yes, Doug is a great show. And Skeeter, yeah, but Patty Mayonnaise, yeah, all
Oh,
that, yeah. But I remember they had a song where they had a band that he was really like Doug was really fascinated with, and they had the song "Banging on a Trash Can." It feels so good, like banging on the street lights. So it's like, but yeah, we would do that. We would take the trash cans downstairs, and my cousin would bang on the trash cans. He would drum on the trash cans.
Yeah.
Man, when my aunt had a piano, so my other cousin would play in the piano because they knew some stuff, and I would sing because that's all I knew how to do was sing, you know. And then I remember, I think when I decided I wanted to be like a singer was, I think his name is Sammy. Yeah, it's don't judge me if I don't know the name. But it's Sammy, and he would sing. I like the way you look at me. I like the way you say, baby. I like the way you talk. I like it, girl. Don't you know I like it? And I was like, yes, I want to be that. And then Usher, and I was just like, yeah, I wanted to be a male singer. Like, yeah. And I remember my granddad being like, no, you got to be a gospel singer because you're in church. You got to sing for the Lord. I was like, I don't want to sing for God. but yeah, that's when I realized, like, that's what, it just singing made me feel good. Like, through my depression, if it wasn't for singing. First of all, I'm sorry, if it wasn't for God. And then if it wasn't for the people around me, but also if it wasn't for singing was my first love, like the first enjoyment I had.
That's your love.
It's
That's
like,
your outlet.
yeah, like when I would hear, sometimes when I would hear what come out of my mouth, I would be like, it would be soothing. I know that sounds cocky, but it's just like I would be like, oh, I made that noise, I made that sound. Like it made me happy. It was like made me appreciate me for the first time for something, you know. I didn't really like myself that much, so it was like, oh yeah, I get to, this is something I do like about me, you know. I can sing, you know.
It builds your confidence.
Yeah,
That's awesome. So you've been singing for how long?
all my life. I will say that, all my life.
All your life?
All my life.
That's awesome.
Yes.
I remember like hearing you sing the first couple of times, like when we were living in the frat house together, and I was like, damn, this guy's got some pipes.
Thanks,
like
bro.
this guy's
Thanks.
good.
Yeah. My family, I come from a singing family. Like that's all we do. Thanksgiving, Christmas, we sing and we get together and we laugh and we're like a choir, you know.
Really?
So yeah, so it's like that's, my family is like a big choir when we get together, and we love to sing, we love to shout and be loud. So I was around music all my life, but singing therapeutic, and it's like, yeah.
Do you have like a idol or a hero, a singing hero?
Like yes, somebody that I admired a lot. He don't do too much now. He does a lot now, but he doesn't do too much singing. So, but Neo is
Neo's good.
yeah, Neo's really good. like his love songs. He was about love. That's what I was about.
Mm-hmm.
And he danced, and he could dance and sing at the same time. And he just sounded. He always sounded good. Like
Yeah.
live, you get these people that like they sound good on their music videos
Mm-hmm.
and audio and the radio, but when you heard them live, did they sound good? And he always sounded good. It was like, yeah. So I actually started feel like I got a lot of my style from Neo. You know.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can see it.
Yeah.
I can see it.
Yeah. So
I'm not the biggest Neo fan, but like I know some of his tunes.
yeah, yeah. He was just smooth and like some of his words, just like I think it's closer. It's just how he talked about how he was able to write his words down. He was such a good writer too, like songwriter, such a great songwriter. It's just like how he was able to put it down on paper. It's hard to like communicate what's in your mind, and he was able to do that flawlessly. You know, so yeah.
That's awesome. Um. So like, have you? There was a thing you went to like L.A. Like 2 years ago.
Yeah, I went to LA. Yeah, I did. I so I met with I call him my producer, friend, brother. He's just been a positive light in my life. His name is Aaron, Aaron Wright. VVRN. If you look him up, you'll find him. He's in London right now.
Okay.
He moved to London, but I met him in Chicago for the first time, just through a mutual friend. I don't know if you remember Ali from college, but he had a birthday and he invited us to Chicago and he knew Aaron. And I met Aaron and we were talking. We went to his hotel before we were going out to celebrate. And him and his girlfriend were there and they were just asking me about me. And I said, I sing. And he was like, oh, well, I do music. And he's like, I produce music and I make beats. He's like, can I hear something? And I don't know why, I sung this country song. And it was, you got your hands up, you sitting in my truck, you got the radio on, you're seeing all night. I forgot the words, but I don't want this night to end. Something, I don't know the guy's name, but yeah, I sung that, and he was like, yeah. He was like, here's my phone number. He's like, here's my address to my house. He's like, well,
Wow.
He said, I'm from Columbus. He's like, and you're from Columbus, so as soon as you get back to Columbus, I need us to link up. And from there, I met so many new people. He's such a good person. He knows so many people in and outside Columbus, and he moved to LA, and then he invited me out to LA to come stay with him for a minute, and I did a lot of different music. And then he had another event he had me come out for, and it was just he opened his home up to a different artist that he met through in LA that he can make connects with, inviting them over, and we just made music all night. We just definitely had good moments, good vibes, and just enjoyed it and made music, like good music. I don't know if we put anything out because that's normally what happens. We make great music and nothing gets put out because people work on it and they just feel like something's not good enough with it and they hold on to it. But we made some great music, put some great ideas out there, and I made a lot of new friends, you know. So that was nice. Yeah.
I've got a message for Aaron.
Yeah.
Put that shit out.
Right. Well, he has put out a lot of stuff. He's got more stuff. He recently came out with a song. We did a song when I first met him back in 2015, and it was Alone. And I just put that out.
That song is from 2015.
2015. That's why I was so nervous about putting it out because I was like, this is not what I want to sound like.
Yeah.
But yeah. He was like, no, we got to do it. So I did it. So.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that was from 2015.
Yeah.
Like as soon as you posted it out there, I was like listening to it as soon as I saw it. I'm like, I know Denzel's good at music. I don't know who this VVRN or whatever his name is. I don't know who this guy is, but I know my dude Denzel's on the track, and I'm like, We'll listen to it. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it does sound like a earlier, you know, like a baby step type of
Yeah,
song. Like
yeah.
it's not, you know, crazy, but like it's you.
Yeah. And what he did to it, it was just so nice and it was so different. I thought I would
Mm.
when we were doing it, I was thinking like commercial, like it was something on like I was thinking like a beer commercial or something, like something nice, you know, something gimmicky.
Mm.
And what he really liked about it is at the end, like I'm talking and I'm telling this girl off, you know, and he's like, "Yeah, I like that." So I was like, he asked me like a couple times, like, "Hey, I really think we should put this out. I really think we should put this out." And I'm like, "No," but I'm glad we did because it just shows like my growth and where I've come from, and it's a part of me. It's what I'm giving people, you know, and so it's just like that's a part of me, take it or leave it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I enjoy making the song, you know. I enjoy singing, but what I want to
Mm-hmm.
sound like is what I'm focusing on right now because I want to make an album and actually put out something that I'm proud. I mean, saying I'm proud of those things too, but
Mm-hmm.
like where it's like all like this is what you know. You have a certain sound of singers want to sound a certain way, and they want their music to sound a certain way. And I can't wait till I get to that point, you know, in my life where my music sounds the way it sounds in my head.
Yeah.
You know? So
I'm excited.
yeah.
I'm excited to see that journey.
Yes. I met a lot of new people. A few other people I want to shoot out, like Kid Columbus, and I just made some music with him, not too long ago. Tell me who to be.
Mm-hmm.
So look him up on SoundCloud, Kid Columbus. Also, Valley Boy. I did Columbus Made Me, and that's a really nice song. I enjoyed doing it. We did a music video to it. I enjoyed the music video. It was really nice. So look that up. It's called Columbus Made Me.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I'm doing some new stuff with some new artists. Her name is Rachel. So she's a female rapper. So
Okay.
she's definitely dope. I like her stuff and just her like the art she's coming out with is just nice. And also she's working with I do not know his name, but she's working with a lot of other artists that I'm excited to work with as well. And these are all Columbus artists, local artists. You know, I just like the coming together and just meeting new people and just seeing what they're doing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Real quick, I want to touch on like the meaning of the song alone. Like, was there something like, was there some passion in there? Was there some fire in there? Like, you were like, I gotta write this song to get something off my chest, or were you like, I'm gonna just drop this tune because I think it sounds cool?
No, there was a meaning behind. Let me tell you what the meaning behind, because I'm very passionate about this. There was a meaning behind Alone. And I've seen that meme. Have you ever seen that meme where it says when they were after you and then you got played still, like when they went after you and then you got played still, like
Yep.
I've been in so many times where girls have came onto me and wanted to get to know me, and then I don't know if I say something wrong or do something wrong, but I end up either getting ghosted or we just end up not going anywhere further. So it's just there was one girl in particular, I will not mention her name, but she was in my life for a long time. And I remember I was interested in her first, I would say. But I just, at the time I was just not as confident. I was just like, well, whatever happens, happens.
Yeah.
And then, we took a break. We hadn't talked to each other. And then she went to find me. She came to find me. Like, she was looking for me on Facebook. My friends had hit me up and was like, hey, so-and-so wants to get your number. They've been hitting you up because you kind of went ghost on them. I'm like, yeah. And then we start talking again. It was just confusion again. It was just like, I'm a very straightforward. I know people are not really straightforward with their emotions and they don't just give you everything. But for me, it's very hard for me to read people. Right. And so that said, I'd rather you just tell me what you're feeling so I can make sense of it. And when you're not doing that and when you're being like shady or you're doing weird things or like when you're Like one thing girls love to do, ladies, you love to play games. Like, regardless if they like you or not, they just love to test you. They love to pick little things and little schemes. Let me see if he does this. Let me see if he how he reacts to this. And I'm just like, no, I don't want to play. Like,
Not playing games.
Yeah, I like to play other games with you, but, but I don't want to play those games. I just want to know what you on so I can figure out how to move.
Right.
You know, show me how you move so I can move with you or move away from you. And that's all alone was about. It was about how a girl wanted me, and then she played me, and now she wants me again. And no, how I'm no longer giving her that attention. A lot of times, someone just will keep doing what they're doing because you're constantly giving them attention.
Right.
And as soon as you stop giving that the attention, then they're all like interested, like, oh, I'm trying to do better. I want you now. And it's like, no, like, because when I was here giving you my time, you were wasting it. And like, you were trying to decide what you wanted in life. And like, that's cool. You can decide that, but you don't waste my time in deciding that, you know, decide that over there out of my way, you know, because it stops, especially like a person that gives their heart. You know, there's some of us, and I'm one of them. Don't call me a pussy, but I'm definitely one of them. I'm like a person that wears their heart on the sleeve and will give you my heart. And I fall hard. So it's like, in order for me not to fall hard, I can't, don't entertain me. Go ahead and do what you need to do. And when you're ready to try to do whatever we're trying to do, I'll be ready, or I'll be off doing something else. But I can't entertain a friendship when I know I have like strong feelings for you. And I guess that's what the song came from.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love it. I think that's such a like cool way to present how you were feeling.
Yeah.
Right? I think people can relate to that too. Like I can relate, like just in friendships and stuff. Like, you know, people want to be around you, be friends with you, but then like once you say like go ghost,
yeah,
they're like, where you at? Where'd you go? Like, I'm dying for your attention. It's like, well, you didn't want it.
Yeah, you
know,
didn't want it
10 minutes ago. Why do you want it now?
Yeah, people try and like, we're funny. Like humans are funny. You know, like, and this is me too. Like, we take advantage of what we will like treat people like crap that have been there, that will like, what's that saying, don't bite the hand that fed you. We will constantly bite the hand that feeds us. Always. That really cares about us. We will put them second to somebody that's treated us like crap. And it's like, to get I'm not, the word is not coming to me, but to get acceptance from that person. We want to be accepted so much by that person, instead of just being satisfied with who already accepts us. And I'm like, I had to learn that, like, don't give my time to somebody that's, when someone else is giving me that same time and willing to give me that much more and love me more than somebody that I have to figure out, like, wait, did I do something wrong? I have to walk on eggshells around you. I don't want to do that. I want to be comfortable, you know.
I love it. Yeah. I think that's staying true to yourself and staying true to, I mean, others, right?
Yeah.
Is there, like, can you give us a sneak peek of what other stories in your music are about? Like, is there other deep things like that?
Yeah, there's a song that I want to work on, and it's about, I want to I'm describing the woman or the girl that I'm seeing as a canvas, like a artwork, and how she's so beautiful. This artwork is so beautiful, who she is and her curves and, you know, her as a person, that I don't want to ruin her. So I choose not to engage. I choose not to, even though she wants something, I choose not to participate because she's such a perfect canvas. Why? I might add something to it that ruins her. So
That's a really interesting perspective.
Yeah.
I have not heard, or I don't think I've heard a song that like relates to that.
Yeah, I really want to get back into love. You know, like I feel like a lot of songs are just about like sex and what we can do for each other, or like side chick or fighting or toxic relationships. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, I we all know that relationships are not going to be perfect,
Mm-hmm.
but let's talk about real love. Like, give somebody to imagine. Give you know, just don't put everything out there. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like um for example, like we have a lot of everybody wants to be an Instagram model. You know, everybody wants to show off their body, but like nobody. A lot of people pay for the like a lot like OnlyFans and stuff. A lot of people pay for the people that are like not showing
Mm-hmm.
anything because they are the teasers. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like people that tease you because they're not giving you everything.
Mm-hmm.
And like I feel like with a lot of songs we just give everything, like sex, everything, like everything,
Mm-hmm.
instead of just being like, let her imagine what you can do for her, you know? Like and I feel like um also like even though this we're in a society where sex is just like open, you know,
Mm-hmm.
sexuality is open, and I feel like it's also a private thing. You know what I mean? It's between two people or
Right.
multiple people, whatever you want to do. But it's something that's done in the privacy of your home or in the privacy of your car. Maybe. So, I mean, nowadays, you can see people have sex anyway.
Oh yeah.
But, like, I feel like it is a sacred thing. It is a private thing. So,
Yeah.
I want to sing about love, but also but come from a, like, a real pure love thing. Like, you know, I want to love you. I want to care about you because I feel like that's what we're missing in the
Mm-hmm.
world is love, genuine love. You know,
Right. You want to put some passion, some
yeah,
intimacy into it.
yeah, intimacy.
Yeah.
Like let me caress your hand. You know, like you give me chills. You know, so like expressing like how somebody means what somebody makes you feel and
Mm-hmm.
what they mean to you. You know, not just we often look at people's body as objects.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of looking at like that's a soul, that's a human being, that's someone's daughter, that's someone's son, that's someone,
Yeah.
instead of looking at like just a sex object, what can you do for me so I can get off, you know?
Right.
Mm.
That's so cool. I love the interesting, unique take on how you want to write your music. I think it's so cool because, like you said, we just have a lot of music out there today. It's like, sex, drugs,
Yeah,
whatever. Like, you know,
yeah.
um, is that the main thing you want to focus on, or is there like other songs that you want to write, like about other experiences in your life, or happy songs, sad songs, whatever? You just want to focus on like love music.
Well, I feel like when I start singing,
Mm-hmm.
I often immediately go like sad, you know, and
Really?
just because I'm used to doing the sad thing, you know, but like personally, when you see me, like I'm all about being happy and having a good time. So
Mm-hmm.
those are things not those are things that I'm trying to put out there, and also just like I feel like right now the world needs somebody. I feel like the world needs a pick me up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like um, people being in their houses for a long time, working from home,
Mm-hmm.
isolated. I feel like we need human contact. And some people are, going to work was their only way to not be depressed, or
Right.
just talking to somebody, seeing somebody. And so I feel like there's a lot of people dealing with that right now. So I feel like just something uplifting, maybe not even churchy, but I would love to do some churchy music,
Mm-hmm.
uplifting, but also just like feel good music, or just really hearing I think just me talking about like um, depression, or talking about overcoming, sadness, or talking about self worth, coming from a black man, you know, would be beneficial because nobody talks about that, Like
Mm-hmm.
you hear Shawn Mendes talk about that, but you don't usually see a big black man talking about like hurt, pain, and just going through it, so that would help other people to be like, okay, there's somebody else going through it as well, somebody else singing about it, and
Mm-hmm.
so
Yeah, I think that's awesome. I feel like I'm kind of like in my head, I'm formulating and thinking about all this, and I want to say that you might like relate your music to like similar to like J. Cole, probably.
yeah, open-minded music like J. Cole. I feel like he just thinks outside the box. He's not
Mm-hmm.
looking at just four walls material things. He's looking
Mm-hmm.
at like beyond that, and that's on when I say, I told you earlier, being on a different level. Like that's what we're all ultimately trying to go to, a
Mm-hmm.
different level. Some people are trying to stay on the same level, but I feel like life is like, because we don't know why we're really here. We really don't know why we're here. It's like it's a game, because you're
Yeah.
trying to figure out why you're here, and the only way you figure out that is by leveling up. And J.
Mm-hmm.
Cole definitely is an example of just like someone that is leveled up. I don't know how far he's leveled up,
Pretty
but
far.
yeah, it seems pretty far. Like
He's pretty far,
yeah,
man.
like a lot of people can't listen to him, and I understand that because you are not on that level, and that's truly
Yeah,
like
I totally agree. Like I'm not on some level to like, really judge others
Mhm.
and whatever. You like what music you like. Like if it hits the right receptors in your brain,
Mhm.
cool. But with J. Cole,
Yeah.
there's a deep level of understanding that you need to enjoy his music, I think.
Right, bro. You're so right. I remember at the like Phi convention, fraternity convention, and I was in the car with Phil, and he was like listening to music, and he turned the music off, and he's like, you feeling that? And I was like, no, I can't relate. He's like, what you mean? I said, I'm not making money, I'm not getting bitches, I'm not, like like I'm broke, I'm in college, I'm stressed out, I'm depressed. Like, what are you talking about? Like, yeah. But at the same time, it's like what you can relate. Like some people like that because that's what they're aiming for.
Hmm.
That's what they want. And then it's like, no, I need to relate to something. Like what's going to get me through is something like body I can relate to. When J. Cole talks about, just being like his song "Love Yours,"
Oh my
like
God.
ain't no place like that's better than yours. It's just like no such thing, no such thing. That
Yeah.
those words resonated with me because it's just like there's often times where I'm like, why don't I got what they got? Why can't I be like them?
Hmm.
And
You're
the whole
comparing yourself
yeah,
to
and the whole
others.
time somebody's looking at you like,
Hmm.
no, you're great. Like you, and it's like that's and he's and how he writes and says what he needs to say in
Hmm.
rap is just like that's talent.
It is talent. It is talent. Like, I'll be honest, that Love Yours song,
Mm-hmm.
I will listen to that when I'm like not feeling great about myself. And like it doesn't, make me feel happy instantly, but like it makes me feel better.
Yeah,
And it's just because, he's like, no life better than yours.
yeah, yeah,
And don't compare yourself to anyone else, right?
yeah. And it's good, like how he's so vulnerable about like.
Mm-hmm.
There's a verse where he's like, "Back when I didn't call bitches so heavenly." It's like that's like to be him. That shows humility and
Mm-hmm.
humbleness. Is like I used to be a different person. I didn't always be like this.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm like this. It's gonna be like, um, it's just like humbling yourself to realize like I wasn't always like this, and to go out and to tell your audience is like I'm flawed. Pretty much what you're saying,
Mm-hmm.
and I have these things that I do that I don't honestly agree with. That's bring yourself down to that human level because a lot of people look at artists as if they're somewhat gods or,
Mm-hmm.
call them idols.
Right.
And you look at them like, oh, Beyonce can do no wrong. J Cole cannot do no wrong. Realize that no, they make mistakes every day, just like a pastor in church can make a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
They can make mistakes. They're not perfect.
Right.
So
Yeah. I think it's so cool. You mentioned that he stays true to himself, and I literally went to his Detroit show like 2 weeks ago, And
Nice.
I loved it. I love him so much. And during his show, he's like, you know, I love playing the old stuff. I love playing the, you know, the hits, whatever. But like, I'm gonna stay true to myself. He literally said it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stay true to myself
Yeah.
and play the music I want to play tonight. And he like, you know, rapid fired like 4 hits off of Forest Hills Drive, and you
Oh,
know
nice.
the whole arena just goes nuts,
Oh my
right?
gosh, I can imagine the energy in the room. Like,
Oh, it was crazy.
yeah.
It's crazy. And then he says that right after he rapid fires those hits, and then he goes into like, you know, you could be that biggest fan from where you're at, where you're from, and you go to a show like this and you see someone knowing a song you don't know, and you're like, damn, I'm
Yeah.
not that big of a fan.
Yeah.
And he's like, that's this song. And he goes to a song that I've like literally never heard before. And
Oh,
I was just like jamming out, like bobbing my head. I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
let's go. And I'm like, I don't know any of these words.
And it's just so weird because the songs that are popular, that get a lot of, you know, people play it and people know it.
Mhm.
I always think like, what is an artist's favorite song? It's probably not a song that no one ever like plays, or
Oh yeah.
the radio never plays. It's
Mhm.
probably something that really is sentimental to them, you know. So,
Have you written a favorite song yet?
I feel like I got a lot of favorite songs,
Okay.
but I I don't know. I think the songs that are like the I because I write choruses first.
Mhm.
So like, or
Okay.
hooks, however you want to call it, because those are like the catchy parts,
Right.
and so those ones that like really, like, sometimes I be going through a feeling and emotions, and then I hear this beat in my head, and then I hear the words, and I'm like, oh wow, you know, that's really deep, and how I put it is poetry, and those are my favorite songs, songs that like I'm just feeling something in it, and I hear something and it's like it also like enlightens me, you
Mhm.
know, like, because I feel like sometimes songs don't come from me, they're sent to me, you know.
Right.
Like, something comes to me, I'm like, wow, where'd that come from? Because I know my brain didn't come from it, you know. So sometimes they're sent to me, I'm just like, oh yeah, I need to write this down. I'm just
Gotta
like,
believe in yourself.
yeah, I do, but I believe sometimes songs are sent to me, and I'm just like, yeah, because I was not looking at it like this,
Mhm.
you know. And it's just like, oh, that's dope. So the songs that are my favorite songs are the ones that like personally taught me something while writing them.
Really?
Yeah.
So not like the experience that you're thinking about and that you're writing about, but like the experience of writing about that experience is what your favorite
Yeah, because
is your
sometimes you
favorite.
can surprise yourself.
Mhm.
You be like, oh, like, I don't know how to explain it. Sometimes you can, during writing, you can surprise yourself, like, dang, well, that's deep. You know, ooh, let
Mhm.
me put that there. You know, something that might have been in your head and back of your head the whole time, but you never just like had the words for it. You know, you ever, like, it's like trying to explain something, you don't have the words for it, and then those words finally coming. It's like a relief. It's like,
Yeah.
yes, you know, like when you're stumbling for words, just
Mhm.
like now, I was be stumbling for words, and then you might find the word that I'm looking for. I'm like, yes, it's like a weight off your shoulder. Those are the
Yep.
songs that I'm like, yes, like where I actually learned something, like something came to me, and I'm like, that's what I was trying to say. That
That's
makes
awesome.
sense. Yeah.
Like, do you mind explaining a little bit about like your writing process?
Yeah, so writing is really hard for me, I will say. That's why when you was asking me about like my favorite songs and stuff like that, I was like hesitant because it's like some of them, a lot of them are still writing, you know.
Okay. So
There's a few.
you're not writing a full song and then moving to the next. Like you've got like 4 or 5 that you're working on.
Yeah, because sometimes, like, especially a singer and a songwriter, you're hard on yourself. I'm
Mhm.
hard on myself as a singer, but I'm definitely hard on myself with songwriting. And writing, I used to love to write, and something happened where I just kind of like, that passion just kind of like dwindled down,
Mm-hmm.
and so now writing again, nothing sounds right sometimes, and so you have to hear yourself. You have to hear it over and over till you realize, okay, that sounds good. But I start with a chorus, and sometimes it comes to me in chorus, and I don't need a beat. Sometimes there's a beat with it, but I really enjoy when I'm just sitting there in silence, and then a beat or melody comes into my head, and then the words come right after it. That happens often,
Mm-hmm.
and but sometimes I just like to vibe out and just listen to different um melodies and beats, and then words come. So then I write them down, and I'll after I write the first chord, I ask myself, what am I writing about? What is going to be the story of this? You know, like what is going to be my actual lyrics? And those are tough because sometimes like that's where opening up and telling a story, you have to be open and honest with yourself. And if it's
Right.
not open and honest, like I can make up a story, but it doesn't actually hit as
Mm-hmm.
hard, as if it's your story or someone else's story, the actual real story. Because there's some people come in my life and I'm like, oh, I'm right about you. Like your life is pretty fucked up. It's like, nah. Like your life is interesting. Let me write about you. Let me sing about you. Yeah.
That's do you have someone that like makes beats for you, or do you make beats on your own? Like, are you in the shower like grooving to a beat that you're feeling, and then like once you get out the shower, you're like, I'm gonna go to FL Studios or whatever you have and just like mix it up?
I wish. I'm not big on like making beats. I'm not patient enough. You have
Yeah.
to be patient.
Oh yeah.
Yes. And no, I have a friend named Juan Rodriguez. He makes beats. Look him up. Juan Rodriguez. Look him up on Instagram. I don't know his Instagram name. I could look it up, but that's gonna take time. But it's Juan Rodriguez. So if you Juan Rodriguez.
Okay.
So he makes beats. Also, Southwood Studios. That is a studio I would go to on the south side of Columbus.
Mm-hmm.
And Fader, that's his nickname, Fader. And he also makes beats as well. I purchased some beats from him. And he has a studio. You can pay him to go to the studio, and it's a nice studio that he built himself. It's actually like studio vibes in there, So, and I purchased some beats from him. So it's like anybody that I meet that makes really good beats. Because some people say, yeah, I make beats, and they're not the beats I'm looking for.
Mm-hmm.
But it's usually I love artists like I said, my producer Aaron. There's a lot of times I could just sing a song. I'm like, I'm thinking of a song, I'm singing the song, and he's automatically is knowing the melody that I've already sung in my head that I know. That's such a reliever when you can be like, I got this beat in my head and I don't know how to give it to you, and then you're singing and they're like, okay, it goes like this, and you can what they're giving you can work with,
Right.
And that's it makes the process smoother and easy when you got somebody that is very detailed and listening to what you're saying. You tell them what you thinking, and they actually can give it to you. That's talent,
That is talent.
Yeah.
That's some hardcore talent. I would think, because like in my mind, I'd be like trying to beatbox the beat to them.
You do any music? You don't?
No. I absolutely love music more than like anything in this world.
I'm pretty sure you've sung in the car with me or something when we're drunk or something. We've sung together.
Probably. But yeah, I don't have a singing voice. I just love like immersing myself into music. Like, I don't know. I've been since all this COVID stuff has kind of subsided just a little bit. I've probably been close to 20 shows since July.
Seriously?
Yeah.
That's crazy. But you're a traveler. That's what you do. You travel and go to shows.
Yeah, I'll travel and go to shows.
Yeah.
I'll pony up for some live music.
That's what I want to do. I want to do more live music, more concerts, but I'm just not a big crowd person.
Right.
But I realize like you got to get over that to get the experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just to see how it is, and because that's the type of environment I want to be in, regardless.
Right.
My biggest thing right now, my goal right now is to do more open mics and do more my original stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my goal right now, and so open mics around Columbus. I'm looking up more of them, and so I can perform because I did perform in the basement. The basement on campus is pretty much Donato's, but their basement. But
Oh, really?
yeah,
I didn't know they had a place there.
yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, we performed. Kid Columbus performed there, and I performed with them with with two of our songs. We actually did, and it was a really good turnout. And a lot of Columbus artists came, and it was really nice. And it's called the Basement, but again, basement of Donato's.
Hey man, I think wherever you could fit a venue, put it there because we need more not live music.
Yeah, they were really reasonable in price,
Mm-hmm.
and they were like, it's for anybody that wants to perform, perform there. They give you money back, like if your fans buy drinks there in the bar down there, and they're reasonable price. I'm not gonna say the price because I don't know exactly what it is, but
Yeah.
reasonable price that they charge, and the people are nice, and they just help out a lot with
Mm-hmm.
everything. So it's a good
cool.
experience. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Is there like artists that you're working with to like get into these venues, or are you just like, cold calling places on your own?
Well, like this year, I told myself it was a goal to like put more music out there, do an album, and just put more music.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how God works. When you ask for something, God gives you more. Like I did not know I would be performing, the songs that I performed. Did not know I would be. I performed at a wedding this year too. So it's just
Oh,
like,
really?
yeah. So I brought a house and I performed at my realtor's wedding. Yeah,
Oh,
so,
that's
yeah.
so cool.
So yeah, that was nice. So like, I didn't know I was going to do performances. I didn't know I was going to perform at a wedding. I did not know I was going to be performing at the basement with Kid Columbus. And these are things that I hadn't done since college, since 2015, with the choir, stuff like that. So it was just getting back in the element and, being able to, I was so proud of myself to be able to, like, I was nervous too, but it was like, yeah, I got back out there, I did something, and it just showed me that, like, okay, you can do this. This is possible.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's small venues, it's just like this is the beginning of something that's going to be something so much more.
Yeah. What's so I want to ask you, like, what's the goal? Like, what's the dream that's like, that you think is probably like out of reach? What do you want?
My intention, honestly, and I know this sounds cliche. I know you probably like, yeah, whatever, but it's to touch somebody's heart. That's my first goal because I don't know, and I don't like to plan. I don't.
Okay.
I don't like to plan because I realize, as a Christian, I say like, my life does not belong to me,
Mm-hmm.
so it belongs to God. So that being said, like it's His. Whatever He directs me, that's where it goes. And I find often when I make my own plans, they don't work out. So like it does not work out. So my plan is to like, yeah. At first it was like I want to be famous. I'm not gonna lie, that was my biggest thing. Like be famous, make money, be known.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but also behind that was change the world. I feel like we're all here to change the world in some way.
Right.
And honestly, it's to touch souls, touch somebody, and make somebody, like my story can help somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you don't have a big enough platform. And so singing is a big platform. Being famous
Right.
is a big platform to save people. But I realize now I don't need that platform. That huge platform. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I can do it with the internet. I can do it so many different ways and still sing. So my goal is to put my music out on YouTube, and to do more videos, more creative art, stuff like that, more visual stuff, and to be happy that is my goal, is to be happy.
Happiness.
Happiness.
Yes.
And singing makes me happy. That's it. And if it takes me to, if it one day allows me to sing in front of billions of people, great. If it takes me to sing in a coffee shop every Thursday night, great. Whatever makes me happy, that's what I'm looking for, happiness in what I do, and making someone else happy.
Yeah.
I love when somebody comes up to me like, man, you just made my night because you sung, or man, you sung that beautifully. You almost brought me to tears. That keeps me going, because I touch somebody in a deep way, more than just physically, but just emotionally.
Yeah. Someone was really like relating to you in whatever that moment is. Yeah. I love that goal. I'm very excited to see you reach it.
Yeah, I hope I do. Pray for me that I do, because there's doubts. There's doubts.
Hey, there's been a lot of not perfect relationships out there, so I feel like Alone really touched some people's hearts.
Yeah, that is for sure. And I got a lot of good feedback from Alone. Yeah, but I'm just, it's like I said, it's not what I was planning on ever putting out.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the ones that really, like I said, you never know who they touch or who hears it.
Right.
Say, this is amazing. But I'm excited to put out. I'm super excited to put out more stuff and just like see what I can do. I'm ready to surprise myself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really ready to surprise myself and what I can do. So, yeah.
You don't know what you're capable of
yet.
yet.
Yeah. I'm just learning and seeing, like, because eventually you grow. Like, I know what I put out, what I'm going to put out is going to be so much better than what I have put out.
Right.
And then after I learn from what I put out this time, what I put out in the future is going to be so more in depth and great and powerful, and that's what I want.
It's gonna be deeper than before.
Yeah,
it'll be like more artistic with your words, right?
Yeah.
Learn a little more, grow a little more.
Yeah, maybe some rapping. I love to just like freestyle rap. You ever freestyle rap just with somebody?
No.
You should do. I mean, like, it's awkward at first.
Yeah.
But that's what. Like, I'm usually in a group with a bunch of friends and chilling, and we'll just, sometimes you start cracking on somebody, but sometimes you just hear a beat and you just go, and sometimes you sound dumb. Sometimes none of your words match. Sometimes you make up words, but it's just like, that is getting rid of insecurities and just being comfortable enough just to flow. And as long as you're in a group of people that's always encouraging you, no matter what, even if you sound horrible, just like, all right, okay, hyping them up, the easier it feels and the more you get to vibe. And I think that's what helps rappers and freestyling and just being comfortable to say words and slowing down your words or speeding up your words. So, I might want to put some little poetry, spoken word on my stuff, because I do some of that too. So,
Yeah. I am not the artist. There's no freestyling happening on this side of the table.
You sure? We can put a beat down and we can freestyle, go back and forth.
Yeah, I mean, if we want to go into the studio sometime, like.
Yes, I would love to freestyle with you, bro. I'm telling you, it's not that. I try to get people to get out their comfort zone all the time and just do that, because expressing yourself, you need to express yourself in some way. And I know people do it differently, but sometimes just laughing at yourself and singing, even if you can't sing the note, it's just such a relief. It's such a therapeutic thing,
Yeah. That's awesome.
I'm really just trying to get him to sing and rap, y'all. So
maybe someday you'll see me featured on Denzel's song. Maybe not.
We will see.
Probably not. But I'll be there. I'll hang out.
Hey, I appreciate it.
Of course. Yeah. Hey, I'm always here supporting what you're doing. I've shared, like, I think both of your songs, Alone and was the Columbus Made Me. Yeah. I shared that with like 50 people.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that.
Of course.
Yes.
Do you have like a favorite rapper as well, or like J. Cole, would that be it, or is there another one?
I was back in the day, I won't say like now, but like I was a big T.I. fan.
Mm-hmm.
J. Cole. I'm trying to think of a rapper now that I'm just like not even like. I met so many rappers that are not on mainstream.
Yeah.
And they're just such great artists, but I just don't. I mean, I just can't think of like a favorite one. Like, I'm not big into rap. Like I said, if you rapping to me, you gotta be talking about something,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But yeah. So, like, if you ask me about music and singing, I'll give you a bunch of names. But as far as rapping, nah, J. Cole is nice. And there's a lot of people, underground rappers that I really enjoy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess take it a little differently. Like you don't just do music, like, right? Like you support yourself somehow. Like what else do you do in this world? Like how do you support yourself, I guess? What's your job?
What's my job?
Yeah.
That's what you're asking. Yeah, I work for
You don't have to say what company you work for.
Yeah, I pretty much work for a bank. If that makes sense. I'm a universal processor, meaning like I just do everything. Everything. That's what I will say. And that's legit what it is. I do everything. I do like I gotta know a lot of systems, and I have to know a lot of everybody's job,
Mm-hmm.
because I just take everything. I don't know how to describe it, but yeah, I've been working there since I got out of college. I'm actually went to school for something totally different.
Yeah.
But like all people, they don't. I'm like you do what you went to school for, right?
I do. I'm one of the weird people out there.
Yeah,
one of those weirdos.
Those one-off.
Yeah.
But yeah, I went to school for psychology and human services and a minor in addiction counseling.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to school for a minor in music, but again, the music department wasn't my favorite.
So, what did you want to like? What did you want to do with that degree, that major, and that minor? What was like back then? What
I really wanted to do with abused children,
Mm-hmm.
And then I wanted to do relationship counseling. As you remember, you were in a relationship.
I'm cutting this out.
Yeah, but as you remember, I helped out a lot of people that are not together now with their relationships.
So you were getting like on the job experience in college with all these toxic relationships.
Yes. I really enjoy I don't enjoy people. I don't really I'm a like introvert with extrovert qualities, and people really just like piss me off when I think about how they how they do things.
Yeah.
But like at the same time, I enjoy looking at people's perspectives and their thoughts and their emotions and how different things. Because sometimes we think our thinking is so sporadic and our thinking is just like all over the place, and that's also beautiful, at the same time, because it's just like, oh, this is where you're getting this from. This is the algorithm in your head that's getting you this answer, and so there would be a lot of people that would be about to break up or just having a argument or disagreement, and I would love, it might be because I was nosy too, I don't know, but I love to just hear the two sides. There's always two sides of the story, and seeing how like, hey, you missed out on this part where this person was saying, or this is where this person's coming from, and to be able to communicate that to somebody else where they can understand, oh, this is what they meant, this is what they're trying to say, but they have bad communication skills, so they couldn't say it, So it's just like, that was interesting. I like doing that.
So you wanted to help relationships out, but like you didn't want to be involved in drama or anything.
Yeah,
but you also wanted to know 587% of the drama.
Yeah. let me know what to stay away from. You know, like no, it's just like it was there. We were in the house. It was toxic. We were in a fraternity house. It was there. A bunch of relationships, and especially when you see people that cared about each other.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about. You know, so like the people that actually like really had good hearts, and they just have been broken
Mm-hmm.
from past situations and how they perceive themselves or how they feel like things should be. A lot of times we look like you should be doing this or this should be happening. You know, so it's just when you see two people that are trying to work it out because they really want to work it out.
Right.
I feel like I would step in and be like, okay, you know, let me help because it seems like this is genuine. This could be something great.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I would love for you to tell your kids like, this is the reason, this is who, this is the reason why you're here. You know, but no, it's just relationships are funny. The stories I hear, the things that people do, like how people move. Like when I say how people move, I'm talking about like how people react to things and how people handle themselves. It's like really interesting. Where you be like, that doesn't seem right. I don't know why you're doing that, but
Right.
they're in their mind. You know,
That's how it works.
That's how it works. You know, exactly.
So you enjoy trying to figure out like how they think it works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you understand the mind, if you understand people, you got to one up on them, and you can manipulate. It's like, now let me.
That's so rude. We're not
like,
manipulating people.
No. I think that's one thing about psychology. It's like you get to learn people, and you have the option to manipulate. And that thing is just like, are you a good enough person to not do that? And my thing is not to manipulate people. Like I learn people because I want to help, because I want to really understand, and also for myself. Like maybe you're thinking in ways that I've never thought before, and that would be great for me to incorporate when I analyze myself. You know, when I have a long time and try to figure out how to make myself better. You know,
right. It's always interesting, like talking to someone, and you could have two wild different opinions about a certain topic. Yeah. But like if you can sit down, like you were doing, and really just discuss with someone, like, this is my side, this is how I see it, this is why I see it that way, and they say the same thing to you. Like you can take it back and learn something with it. I think that's pretty awesome.
It is. And what's even more crazy is when you and that person have lived together, grew up together, and y'all still have different perspectives. And that's always amazed me, is that like we could be raised by the same parents, have the same household, have the same, taught the same morals, but our perspectives, how we live life and how we do things will be totally different. And I just think that that's always amazed me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What also amazes me is like what I've learned recently with some people in my life is that we could grow up completely different household, you know, parents, etc., different schools, you know, meet way later down the road, have different experiences, different perspectives on certain things, but then when you connect with, you know, whoever that is, you could have the same ideas.
Yeah,
and
same
like
views.
You can relate and have different life lessons still or different experiences teach you the same life lessons.
Yeah.
It's fascinating. I've seen that a couple of times in my life recently, and I was like really taken back. I'm like, I grew up this way, I learned this thing, I learned this life lesson this way with this experience, and they described to me that they learned the same life lesson in a completely different experience.
Yeah, exactly, their perspective. And that's how you know everybody has their own path. Like sometimes people have kids and they be like, this is what I want my kid to do and everything. I'm like, but like, that's you becoming, like, I know they're your kid and I know that you birthed them, but that kid has a life in them, has a spirit, has, you know, something that moves them. And it may not move you the way you move, that, you know, how you moved or how you're taught or how you view things. You know what I mean? So
Right.
it's just like I feel like a lot of parents sometimes get that's where a lot of conflict comes from because people are viewing how they think it should go, and their life it's not your life, you know,
Right.
and how you view things. So I think like you were saying, we can have that person can live in a different household than you, but have the same thoughts you have because
Mm-hmm.
that's how they perceive things. Like this doesn't seem right, but the way you live and the way how you do it seems right. You know, I like how you live and I like how you do things. You know,
Right.
rather than what I've been taught.
I think it's so interesting to see that and to communicate that with other people. Different points in your life. We're not all on the same level at the same time or the same path in life, right? But we're still learning the same life lessons. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's interesting. That's why I said I think that's one thing I got into psychology. I mean, because there's a lot of mental health in my family, but one thing was just like I wanted to learn how to correct my thinking,
Mm-hmm.
and also learn. And then I found that trying to correct my thinking, which I didn't learn that from school, how to correct my thinking.
No.
But I think trying to learn how to correct my thinking, I've actually learned how other people think and their other perspectives, and just learn how to how the best way to view my life and how to conduct myself in my life, you know,
Mm-hmm.
or how to look out for things or listen for certain things and watch for certain things. You know, it's all about what you've been through and what you experience. So
Yeah, I agree. I was gonna say something. I totally forgot it. I was listening to you. Yeah.
bad.
No, it's cool. It's cool. It's so interesting. I think when you can, sit down with someone for the first time, whatever, and get to know them, share experiences, share life lessons, all that, and you can, go about your business for a couple of years, still like being around the same person, and you can still see them. You're looking at them from an outside view.
Yeah.
It's like, damn, that person's happy, right? Like they're all out here doing this and that, and you can look at yourself and you're comparing yourself to them. You're like, I'm not as happy as that person. But what I find crazy is you can sit down later with that person and communicate about that time frame, and they can be like, shit, I hated life.
Yeah.
And you can be like, wow, you were like so happy at that point,
Yeah.
but you didn't show it.
It's that poker face.
It's a poker face.
Yeah, you just gotta get. And it's like one thing I found out like after college, which really surprised me. People would be like, "Oh yeah, Denzyel, like I'm in Columbus. I want to come hang out with you." People that I didn't expect, or people that be like, "Hey, I want you to be my best man." I'd be like, "We hated each other in college." Like, or there would be a lot of times where people would just call me. Like recently, I got a call from somebody. It's just like, "Man, I've been looking for you and just wanting to talk. You see how you're doing, see if you're safe." And I'm like, and you forget how much you forget, or you don't realize like the impact you put on somebody else's life. Like I've had somebody else say like, you don't know that what you said to me that day just helped me so much. And you're thinking like, I was just telling you what I always tell. You just like, I was just saying.
I was just handing out the same advice I hand out to everyone.
Well, not even the same advice. That's why I stopped myself. But like, I was just saying how I felt at that moment, or what I was going through at the moment. I didn't know I had the right words for you. I didn't know I said the right things. I didn't know I was there at the right time.
Right.
And you never know. Like that day you came to the house, like, and I didn't know you, and just simple words, your simple truth, helped me get through it. So it's just like that is powerful,
Right.
and it makes you feel good when somebody reminds you, like, hey, you do make a difference. You do matter. You do care. You do make a change. And it's like, if you don't know anything else, know that you changed my life in my chapter. You know what I
Right.
mean? So, don't, like, for people out there that feel like they're worthless, you don't know what you have done because you're not there all the time. You're not in people's head, and that's what sucks. Because you wish you were in everybody's head. You know what they thought, but it's like you're not. So you don't know just by you saying hi to somebody.
Yeah.
Hi, how you doing? How's everything going?
Right.
That changes in my life. When I talk to people on the phones at work, like, how are you doing today? That changes your whole mood. They're about to cuss me. They were about to cuss me out. It's like, and they'd be like, I wasn't doing good, but since you asked me, you had this nice smile on your phone, over the phone, I'm going to be nice to you. I'm going to, I get that a lot. But it's like, that's why I encourage people, like, when you're out, you see somebody, just say hi. Just say hi, how you doing? Give that little chit chat. I know a lot of people got anxiety and they're nervous about that. And some people may not receive it. But the people that do receive it, you don't know how they change their life. You don't know somebody was on the verge of breaking down. Like, a lot of times in college, I thought people were, and people did make fun of me because I always say, you okay, bro? You good, bro? You good, bro? But I did that because a lot of times we'll say we're good and we're not. We're broken and we're breaking inside. So I wanted to make sure that all my fraternity brothers that I care about, that I was staying with, because it would be devastating to know that I was living in a house with people and talk to people, and one day they end up hurting themselves, and because I didn't take the time out as a human being, because that's being a human being, caring about other people, being there for other people. A lot of people got this view on what can I do for myself? What can I do? What's the biggest house I can get, the nicest car I can get? And they're not thinking about being human. Humanity is being human and being there for somebody else when they need you.
Right.
And I think we've gotten away from that in life. Just communicating, just say a simple hi, how you doing, with a smile on your face, can go a long way for somebody.
Yeah, it really can.
Yeah, why did they say hi to me? Like,
who am I to them?
Who am I to them? Why was they so nice to me?
Yeah.
I'm not shit. I'm not worth anything. But someone did see you. Being seen. That goes a long way.
It does. It really does. Kindness.
Yeah.
Kindness goes so far. You never know what someone's going through. You can change someone's whole day just by saying, "Hey, how's it going?" Like, in a nice tone.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Sometimes you be like, how you doing? And they lay everything on you.
They could be like, "Man, it's a shit day."
Yeah. And they talk to you and you be like, "Oh God, I shouldn't have asked that." But you just by you asking, really, it's like a few minutes out of your life to hear somebody ramble about their life is not going to hurt you, not going to kill you.
Right.
And being genuine is not going to kill you. It's like, actually, it might save your life.
Right.
A lot of people think opposite. If I give this person a ride, if I do something for somebody, they might be out to do bad, and that's sad because a lot of times that's true. But I feel like sometimes we have to take those risks as humans to just go out our way, give that person $1 that you see on the street, whatever it is that you got in your pocket, because like I said, everybody's not got bad intentions. Everybody's situation isn't because they just don't want to work. There's some people out here that genuinely are homeless or can't do stuff for themselves because they're mental, because they've been broken, and they need somebody. So for those people, we have to be a little bit more patient. A lot of people are just so aggressive and like, you get out there and do what you. We understand. You understand there's people using the system and taking advantage, but there's some people that really just need that extra help. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. I think that's great advice. Just a couple of minutes out of your day isn't going to ruin it if you're trying to help someone else.
Yeah.
And you could literally save someone's life.
Yes, you can.
Yeah. I think that's great. S- I I usually ask everyone. I want to take a complete like 90-degree turn.
Oh
Um,
Lord.
no, it's good. It's good.
Okay.
Um, I know you. You took some time like out of doing your normal thing, and like you traveled places, and I love talking to people about their traveling.
Yeah.
So like what's some cool places that you've been, things that you've done, places you've seen?
So to be quite honest, I didn't start really traveling until like 2000. I mean, right after college. That's when I really started traveling. I got on my first plane in 2015 for Julian's wedding.
Really?
Yeah.
You haven't been
So
on a plane
yeah,
ever since
yeah. I
even
went.
before that.
I was like, this is my first time getting on a plane. First time getting on a plane, and my coworker was like, yeah, I want. He's like, you get on a plane tomorrow, right? And I was like, yeah, yeah. He's like, actually, like it was the same day. He's like, you get on a plane today after work. I was like, yeah, yeah, I'm excited. He's like, I want to show you a video. He just showed me a video of planes crashing.
What an asshole.
Yeah, like come on, but first plane ride. It was, uh, I I just meet people and people talk to me and people help me and it's just
Mhm.
that was nice and so it's like I went to 1 year. I went to like few different places like back to back, and I don't know why. I was just like, I told myself this is gonna be a year of travel, and I'm gonna travel.
Mhm.
And I visited friends, all of them friends, so I didn't have to pay for no hotels because they let me stay at their places. you know,
It's
I
nice
was like,
having friends in different places.
I was bumming it house to house. But the first place I went to was New York. I went to go see one of my favorite couples, Robin and Reggie. That they just got married. I just went to their wedding
Oh yeah.
in August. Yeah, in Georgia, and I met them. They live in New York, so I went to New York to see them. New York was um, New
The
York. I liked New York.
the city?
Yeah, this
Yeah.
New York City.
New York City. Okay.
The reason why I like New York City because no one's paying attention to you. I don't. That gives me some comfort that no
Uh-huh.
one is looking at you. I mean, there's people looking at you, but you don't know. And
Mhm.
there's like nobody's worried about you.
Right.
Everybody's just going on and minding their own business. For reason I know I just talked about caring about other people, you know, but there's some comfort in like no one's paying attention to you. Nobody's worried about you.
Yeah.
You
They're
know?
worried about their own life.
Yeah,
And
I really enjoy that. Yeah,
there's that like famous quote. I know I'm gonna butcher the hell out of it, but it's like New York City is the place you could freeze to death in the street and no one's gonna notice.
yeah, that's horrible. But at the same time, yeah, like
Yeah.
it's a freeing feeling as well.
Mhm.
Like you can be free, and there might be somebody look at you, but there's someone that's just not. It's just you can come invisible, and I know like a lot of time growing up, I wanted to be invisible. And New York is a place where you want to be invisible. You can be invisible if you want to be seen. You want to be seen. You know,
Uh-huh.
it's just if you want to be undercover, you can be undercover. Whatever you want to do. But New York was really nice. I just didn't like how they lived on top of each other. Everybody
Yeah.
was very on top of each other, and the smells are interesting. So yeah,
New York City is
Yeah.
smelly.
but I had pizza, and I will say they're not lying. The pizza tastes totally different.
It is the best pizza.
It is. It is. It's totally different from any other pizza I've had. I wrote the Subway. It wasn't as interesting as I thought it was.
It's just confusing.
Confusing, and it's like it was like I forced when I went. So, like normally when I go to friends and they invite me,
Mm.
not talking about my friends, but they're like great hosts. These friends were not great hosts. They're from New York. I don't know what it was. New York and Cleveland. I don't know, but they were not great hosts. And they told me the second day, they was like, look, we got work and we're not doing anything else. We went to Subway. We went to the Subway and we went to the bridge and that's all we're doing. So I was like, what the heck? So I had to, so I was just like, what can I do? So there was a park that was playing music. And you know me, Cameron, when you hear music and
Oh yeah.
I can be in a bad mood, and then when we go in the club, it changes. I'm just like I'm dancing, I'm moving my body. It's
You
just
perk
something.
up.
Yeah, I perk up.
You feeling it?
Well, I heard the music. They was like, it's $60 to get in. It's a park. they wanted me to pay $60
Like a
to
public
get in the
park.
market. Yeah, but free park. You want to pay $60, but I paid because I heard music and I saw women that were beautiful. So I went in there. I went in, and it was reggae music. Something about reggae music. Reggae. It's just like it's fun. It's inviting. It's very like you gotta move. And it was awkward at first, but I met people and they joined me, invited me. They let me smoke their hookah. They let me drink their drinks. They were very inviting, and I wasn't expecting that from New York people because I just heard New York people are mean and rude and all this.
That is very
all this-
opposite.
Yeah. So, but I actually find out New York people are not rude. They're ready to get there to the point. And so and then I decided to go to. Because I was in I don't know, I was in Brooklyn. I don't know what exactly street, but, and then I decided I was going to go to Times Square by myself on the bus.
Okay.
And I had
on the bus,
yeah,
not the subway.
Yeah, well, I took buses and then took subways.
Okay.
So there's times where my phone didn't work and I was using my phone, but it was like the connection sucked. So I just was like blinded and asking people. Like I would ask multiple people because some people would tell you stuff. You know, like I know if somebody asks me, where do we get this place? I might give them fake directions to make it seem like I've been here, you know, and it might be completely wrong. So I just would ask people, and then when I would get the same information, I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. But it was like, I did it. I was so proud of myself because I had to go out of my comfort zone to talk to people. I had to depend on myself. I didn't have to follow anybody. And I was just like, I did it. I was like, big accomplishment for me. So New York was just like, I gained something from New York. Like, okay, you can do this by yourself. That's when I realized, like, okay, you can travel, you can do things by yourself. You know? Yeah. California, LA was amazing. Rooftop parties I went to. There was pools on the rooftop. I just that type of atmosphere, just like seeing that type of structure was beautiful. The people, very diverse, and just like the weather about California was nice, and everybody wasn't living on top of each other. California was just, I think California, as much as people would be like, disagree with me and my friends disagree with me, was the best place I visited. Just because I know that's cliche, but it's just like all the vibes I heard about, I got, you know.
Yeah.
There was a lot of fights in LA though when I went there, and I got so many videos of fights on.
Oh, that reminds me. You saw like some homeless people fighting like at a taco truck or something.
Yeah, he told him this a homeless guy came and he took a burrito outside of the trash can, and that's what they said. And he was claiming he was going to call the Better Business Bureau. He was calling them, you know, slurs, Hispanic slur names, and then something happened where these other couple came in and these other friends, and this girl was about to fight this guy. It was a lot, you know. It was a lot. Some homophobic slurs was thrown out there. It was just a lot. And then my friends was like talking to the cops snitching, and I was like, nah, I don't snitch. I don't know what happened.
I'll record this fight, and then I'm gonna leave.
Yeah. But it was good vibes. It was like, I know, like, I think it was just like I was there for the amount of time that I needed to be there. Because my friend, I heard other things from a friend that obviously stayed in California, like that it's hard to find people that are genuine there, you know. But I didn't need to find anybody genuine there because I wasn't gonna be there for too long. So like everybody was a party to me, you know. Like everybody was my friend at that time. I'll never see you again. But I actually did gain a lot of good friendships from California that I still talk to now. Yeah, so
that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's good. Do you plan on like going out there, and like I know that's like one of the big places to go to make music. Do you plan on going out there again? Like try to do something?
If I have a reason to go out there, I had a reason to go out there, and my friend that does my music, he's now in London. So
right.
I mean, there's Shay that went to our school in Tiffin, Shayla. She's out there, so I mean, I could definitely go visit her, but it's not a place like I want to move to.
Right.
Or that's a lot of money. Like I if it happens, if somebody's like, hey, I'm gonna move you out to California, and we do a project together, I'm always down to do new things and
Right.
do exciting things. But at the same time, it's like I'm cool like here. Like it would be nice for vacation, but to stay
Yeah.
there, no. Yeah.
So is the Columbus area something you want to stay? Is this where you want to stay, or do you want to move?
No, like my name on Instagram is Columbus_love for people that want to follow me. But I love Columbus because that's where I came from. But it's not a spot that I plan on staying. I obviously purchased property out here, but it's not a place that I see myself being forever. I definitely want to travel and come back and visit, maybe
Right.
even settle here. I probably won't settle here, but maybe, you never know what's in the future. But at the end of the day, like, I definitely want to move to different places and different locations. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. I grew up here. You love it, but
Yeah.
maybe at some point down the road, it's time to move on.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like some people here, like people have different views, but it's like a majority similar views and stuff like that. You just want to get into different culture and different places, and just like going to Colorado, going to California, going to Washington D.C. They're all so different.
Yeah.
Different people, different atmosphere. Just finding the right atmosphere. And like Columbus is nice, but it's always good for change. And sometimes you just need a different atmosphere to be in.
Oh, for sure. I think, travel is one of the best ways to experience life, in my opinion.
Where would you go if you wanted to move?
Where would I go if I was going to move? Man, I really love the western side of America. I would probably go to like Colorado or somewhere around that area. Yeah.
I can see you in Colorado. I can see you in New York too. So
I also love New York City.
Yeah.
For similar reasons as you.
Yeah.
No one really cares on who you are walking down the street.
Yeah, that's what I like.
And the food in New York City, oh my God.
Yes. Yeah, it's different. I didn't really go to a lot of different restaurants, but like I
Really?
said, I didn't get to do that. But California, I did. California, I got to go to a lot of different restaurants.
I've never been to California, but I've heard like you can go. It's like New York City. You can go anywhere, and it's not gonna be a bad meal.
Yeah,
like you're gonna have a great meal every spot you go.
Yeah, and you can find whatever in New York and California. Anything you're looking for, you can find. Yeah.
Even you can find the wildest things.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what's great about the city. Like I hear a lot of people say, like, when I grow up, I'ma go to the country. And like my family's from West Virginia, and I got that country side of me, and I just don't like the thought of being isolated in the country. Like I'm a definitely city boy at heart. Like I can do country for a little while. Like Tiffin, 4 years, I was like, my fourth year, I was like, okay, get me out of this place.
Yeah.
Like just the city is so convenient. But one thing I will say, before I moved back to Columbus, because I was in the Lima area for a minute, just the care and food, like coming here and getting service is trash. Like service and just like how they prepare the food is trash. Like you can tell, like in the country they prepare it with love. They put their heart into it, and it's just like, you don't got to deal with a lot of crowds in the country and stuff. There's pluses and minuses. Like even though there's all different places that you can go to and you can choose from in the city, like there's gonna be time, patience, and love into like food as a simple fast food restaurant.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's one thing I do like about the country, and just the hospitality. Like, and living in Elida, I was just driving and people were waving, and I was just like, and I wouldn't wave back because just like, what? This is suspicious. Like, why are you waving at me? But it's just like people are really just nice. Like that's just common to do. Like,
Oh yeah.
here in New York, here in Columbus, you wave at somebody might flip you off. You know,
That's a Midwest hospitality.
That's right.
Yeah, I've traveled, to the city and had, the experiences. Don't wave at anyone. Don't say hi to anyone.
Yeah.
And I'll walk into a restaurant in the country with, like population of less than 10,000 people, and people are like, "Hey, how you doing? How's your day?" And I'm like, "Who are you? And
like,
why do you care?"
Yeah, like exactly. But like, like that. It's funny that you mentioned in California, like don't talk to nobody. I was in LA. We were coming down, and we were downtown LA, and so like we're not too far from Skid Row, so there's a lot of homeless people around,
Yeah.
and people in my producer's like, watch out where you walk, because some people just take shits on the on the sidewalk. And so I was walking, and so across the street we were waiting for the light to turn red so we can go, and there's this, I don't know if he's a homeless guy, but he looked homeless. And people wearing that Kanye West stuff, so it's holy. You never know. You never know. This might just be hoes in the shirt. I don't
Homeless
know.
or a crazy Kanye fan.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Who knows? But he started doing like karate moves, and I'm into Dragon Ball Z, so immediately I start doing it back. Yeah, I start Kame, and my friends like, don't do that. Stop. Do not do that. And I was like, he's like, he might he might react. But I was just like, I thought he was showing love. I was like, yeah, I'm into this shit too. I can get karate. I can do Dragon Ball Z. I can summon some power. I can do a spirit bomb.
Oh my God, I'm dying.
My friends just panicking like, no, stop, don't do anything. Like, stop, leave him alone.
Don't look at him. Don't try to fight him.
No. I thought it was a bonding moment. Like he would start doing the crime move across the street. I was like across the street doing that, He was just like, nah.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Right. You gotta watch out for people like that.
That is so funny. I'm sorry.
Yes.
All right. So, on that note, we've been here for quite a while.
Yeah.
There's a question that I ask everyone at the end here, and I know this episode has a lot of good life lessons in it. I love it. I want to ask you though, like the one piece of advice you would want to live on, after you're gone. What's that one thing that you want to say to anyone, future kids, family, someone, random that you want to touch their heart? Like, what's that one thing?
The advice I would want to give people, is that, like, talking about mental health, suicidal, thoughts, you don't know how your story ends. You do not know if your story gets better. So who are you to close your story when the end of your story could help so many other people? So continue to read your story. It may get better. I know it looks like it's not, but if you've never seen freedom, then it's not going to look like it's going to be you ever see it. But this life is crazy. This life is those different things at you. You never know. Like the next day you might see somebody and they might change your life. So do not end your story early. Continue to read it. It might be a beautiful book. It probably will be a beautiful book because it's your life. So enjoy it, read it, and wait out to the end. Yeah. You don't get to choose your end.
So, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Like I just said, there's a lot of good life advice in this one. And I really think that was like the icing on the cake. Yeah. Seriously.
Thanks.
I love it. Yeah, let's wrap it up here. Thank you so much for coming out. I really appreciate it.
Yes.
do you want to like plug your music really quick? Is there like, do you have Spotify page, SoundCloud, or anything?
Yes, I have a SoundCloud. But I actually lost. You asked me about music, and I don't have anything. My SoundCloud is actually the password is lost, so I don't have that. But
Okay.
it is under Columbus Love, so you can still find it. Or Zale, Zyel. Yeah, Zyel.
Zyel.
Yeah,
Okay.
and my full name is Denzyel. So, it's like Zale or Zyel, whatever you want to pronounce it. But that's my stage name, Zyel, and you can look up my music on Spotify. Just there won't be new updated music because I'm making new stuff and everything for the new website. But yes, and also you can hear some of my stuff on Instagram, Columbus_love. I already said that multiple times. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Yeah. So, and then I got my Snapchat, but don't snap me anything inappropriate. That's Daddy D20.
All right, yeah, I'll link some stuff in the description so people can find you pretty easily. And yeah, thank you so much again for coming out. Really appreciate it.
Yes, thank you for having me again.
Yeah,
It's been my pleasure.
sounds good. And until next time, take care.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Fatal to Prejudice. If you or anyone you know would like to be a guest, please visit my website at CameronChats.com and fill out the contact me form. Please fill out the subject line as podcast interview and write me a small blurb on why you or someone you know should be a guest. I'll leave a link in the description for ease of access. You can support this podcast by listening to it on your favorite podcasting site. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Another way to support is by becoming a Patreon at patreon.com/Fatal to Prejudice. Patreon is the only monetary support system. If you would like to sign up and support through there, I am forever grateful for you. Again, thank you for tuning in.